Y'all, what is going on? So if you don't know, now you know. Psych Perspectives, GeoFlex here. I was extremely busy all last month. I'm just gonna be real, which is one of the many reasons why I really wasn't making any content. I had a lot of events that I was working on with other people, a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, a lot of stuff going on with my mom and her health and well-being. Then I just didn't really feel the need to pull the camera out and record, but it's just so much going on, right? But one of the great things that went on was I basically have been celibate for six weeks. 6 weeks of celibacy, and granted, that's not really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, especially when you consider the fact that there is 52 weeks in a year, so I still have 46 more weeks of this to make it to a year. So it's literally like a drop in the bucket, essentially. And at the same time, I'm proud of myself, right? For me, especially being celibate during Pride Month, like, because yes, there was a lot of temptation. I'm not gonna sit up and lie, but I made the decision to be celibate because, number one, I'm just gonna keep it real. When people are constantly talking about soul ties, I feel like there's truths to that, and there's also falsehoods to that, right? I feel like sex definitely can open you up to potentially catching soul ties or forming a soul tie or forming a superficial bond with somebody. And I'm saying superficial because in my experience, more often than not, there's nothing going on here but sex. And sometimes people think because they're having sex that they're working towards a long-lasting relationship, and that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. A lot of times it is what it is. It's sex. And you have some people who will use sex to control the relationship dynamics or the power dynamics in that setup, right? And yeah, you think you're, having all of these feelings, and the whole time it's literally just hormones, and a lot of times your feelings, in my opinion and experience, they're not based in logic at all. And in many cases, not only are they not based in logic, but they're not even based in reality. Like, you're sitting up here thinking this is the love of your life and you're going to be with this person forever. And then, like, in reality, you are a sneaky link. Like, I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. And one of the ways to kind of break that soul tie or to recalibrate yourself is to stop having sex with that person. I'm just going to be completely honest. Or stop having sex completely for a moment of time. And that moment of time is ultimately going to be on you. I'm just going to be honest. Some people are going to do it for a few days, a few weeks, a few months. And then you have people who have been celibate for years. And you have people who have no intentions of ever having intercourse with another person again. So again, it's to each his own. Whatever works for you is what I would recommend doing. For me, this is not the first time that I've done a break. So I kind of think that's kind of why it was somewhat easy for me to kind of just detach and go on about it and not have it, because I've done this before. And it's only been 6 weeks. Like I said, it has not been long. We're talking about a month and a half, 2 weeks shy of 2 months. And what I've noticed every time I do this, when I stop having sex and I stop focusing so much on sex, I'm able to recalibrate myself. And what I mean by that is I'm able to regain my focus. I'm able to get so much more done and accomplished. Like last month, June alone, We had events back to back, back to back. Like, we literally started the month off with a pride event in Ferndale, Michigan. Had a huge after party, had so much fun. It was great. And then literally each week we had different events going on. So I was so focused on that, focused on paying off debt, focused on saving money, helping my mom navigate the healthcare system, making sure she got quality care for her health situations, cleaning out my house because I'm having a lot of work done on my house, a lot of renovations, and really like finally having the time to focus. Because another issue that I ran into with sex is that, like I said, you can call it a soul tie. You could call it, having emotions that are not based in reality or logic. What I notice is there's so much focus on the person you're having sex with that you're no longer focused on things that you need to be focused on, like your own life. I'm just going to be real. Your own goals, your own hobbies. And a lot of that also comes out of codependency. Like, let's just keep it real. My lack of boundaries, my codependency literally had me in a situation where I'm putting all of my time and attention and focus on sex and this other person. And yet, more often than not, the other person is not thinking about me that way, right? That's what I mean by a lot of times this is not based in logic, and this is also not based in reality. And when you take a step back, you can see it very clearly. So that's why I have my breaks. And yeah, I got so much done. Another reason why I think celibacy is important too is, especially for anybody that is a bottom, anybody that gets penetrated, or if you are the person who does the penetration, if you are the top. It's also good for you because a lot of times, especially, I'm just going to call a thing, especially in the gay queer community, everything revolves around sex to the extreme. Okay, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting sex and being horny because we're human. This is a basic human need. However, I don't think our entire lives should be focused around getting laid. I'm just going to be real. And you, after a certain age, I feel like we need to have more control over our hormones. You should not still be acting like you're a 15, 16-year-old in your 30s and 40s when it comes to sex. Okay? Also, arguably, when you look at a lot of the videos that we're making and what people are discussing about when it comes to love, romance, dating, relationships, we, in my opinion, myself and others, we are going about it, in my opinion, the wrong way anyways, because 9 times out of 10, we're leading with sex and then being upset when it doesn't lead to anything else. And I'm sorry, but let's just keep it a buck. Like, I've said this before, if you meet somebody and it starts off with sex, that's typically where it's going to stay. So when you're talking about dating, love, and relationships, in my opinion, we do kind of need to go back to the old school model of actually going on dates and getting to know a person before you decide to share your body with them. Because a lot of times, in my opinion and lived experience, we're sharing our bodies with people who don't deserve us. It is what it is. And then you get in another reason too, people complain about situationships. I have definitely complained about situationships. And what I've learned is, again, how can we be surprised that leading with sex leads to a situationship? Because 9 times out of 10, they never wanted to be with you anyways. However, the sex was okay, the sex was good, or y'all were physically attracted to each other, sexually attracted to each other, and you decided to stick around knowing that there were a lot of red flags, a lot of inconsistencies, and that y'all were not really compatible with each other, but y'all wanted to have a consistent sneaky link or a consistent sex partner. And again, if that's all you're looking for, great. It's going to work out well for you. But for those of us that want something more, you want an actual commitment, you want a relationship, you want titles, you want labels, you want partnership, you want somebody that you can build with, this is probably not going to work out in your best favor or your best interest by leading with sex. I'm just going to call a thing a thing. Also, arguably, if you're not going to be getting orgasms, what's the point in participating in the first place? That's a whole nother aspect that I had to really sit down and think about. Like, I wasn't really having quality sex to begin with the vast majority of the time. It had really got to the point where it was just kind of very robotic and straight up meaninglessly. Okay, so I'm not really missing out on anything to begin with because I can literally count how many times I actually had an orgasm. I'm sorry, but what is the point of having sex with somebody and then I have to go home and finish my own self off because I'm not getting pleasured? So it made it also extremely easy for me on a personal level to be celibate because it's like, what am I getting out of this anyways? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still taking my prep. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen. You never know how you're going to feel from day to day. And again, I didn't say that I was going to stay celibate. I still believe in healthy, protective, safe, harm reductive sex. However, at this current time, I'm not really interested in engaging in it with people that don't care about me and are only in my life or only dealing with me because they want to have sex. That's a whole nother thing. I'm tired of being a sneaky link. I'm tired of being a sex object, a sex toy. I'm tired of useless, meaningless relationships and situations with people who don't have any good intentions with me. I'm not a human masturbation toy. So that's where I'm at too with that. Like, it just, again, you get to a point in your life where you have to make better decisions for yourself. Okay? And yeah, and I'm also just going to say it when in my experience, when I remove sex from the equation, it made it very easy for me to pick myself because time and time again, in my experience, the only thing a lot of these guys were bringing to the table was sex. That's it. There's no dates. There's no commitment. There's no really getting to know you. They're not even really interested in getting to know you on a deeper level. Everything is very surface level, and it always comes back to sex. So, yeah, I'm not interested in that. And it also makes it easy for me to spot red flags. Because that's just it. When you come to the table and you already are practicing celibate and you tell that person, well, yeah, I'm celibate right now. I'm not really interested in having sex. I'm getting to know people. I'm working on my life. You know, I want to go on dates. I want to take my time getting to know people and building towards something. And the person or the people that don't want to do that with you, that's your red flag to know that they're not the type of people that you want to waste your time with. I'm just being real. It's a lot easier to date when you remove sex off the table. It is what it is. Also, self-pleasure, masturbation is... Again, I'm getting orgasms by masturbation. Very rarely was I getting an orgasm by engaging in sex. Not to mention, I don't want to be the one doing all the work while the other person is just just laying there essentially. So yeah, it made it very easy for me to pick celibacy and masturbation because it's just like, at least over here, I'm not having my feelings played with. I'm not being breadcrumbed. I'm not being led on. I'm not stuck in a situationship or a talking stage that's going nowhere. I'm not being used and manipulated. And I get to have an orgasm once or twice a night. Oh, yep, I'm gonna stay over here where I'm safe. So that was a very easy decision for me on a personal level. But I just wanted to share that because I know I haven't really been making any, commentary, and I haven't really been making videos. So yeah, July, I'm coming back with videos, but yeah, I just had to make that video just to kind of give an update. And also, I'm happier. Like, when I say I've gotten to a level of peace, and granted, I still want to continue this journey, but I was able to really center my feelings, center my emotions. I'm really, like, coming back to me. And, like, I'm happy about that. Like, it's been a minute.